Christy here from A Scarred Beauty on Instagram, Facebook, my blog, and YouTube. I wanted to make a video to tell you a little bit about myself, as well as answer some frequently asked questions that I get on my social media and emails. I'll start by telling you a little bit about how I got my keloid. I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about me. I'm 27 years old, I live in Southern California, and I was born with a congenital heart defect. Just when I was days old, my parents realized something was wrong with me. They took me to the hospital and realized that I was born with nearly only half of a heart. Because of that, I had to get 4 open heart surgeries as well as an implanted pacemaker. After my open heart surgeries, my parents realized that my scar wasn't healing like the other kids that they saw at the hospital or like any other incision that they had heal. So at that point, they realized that my skin was prone to keloiding, and I had developed a keloid on my incision. I've had the keloid as long as I can remember. I've never lived a day in my life without it. That's a little bit about my background. Now I'm going to go into some frequently asked questions that I get that kind of tell you a little more about my life. The first question is, when did I start forming my keloid? I started forming my keloid as soon as I had my first surgery. My skin has always been prone to keloiding, so ever since my first open heart, I had the keloid there. What treatments have I tried? That's a great question. I have had 5 plastic surgeries on my keloid, which means they've actually gone in, cut the entire keloid out, stitched it back up, and prayed for a better result. I have tried, steroid injections, silicone, Mederma, who hasn't tried that, tea tree oil, emu oil, vitamin E oil, Scarprin, something called black paste. It's from somewhere in Asia, and you put it on your scar at night and you cover it with gauze. I tried this technique, and some people have had great success, so I was really excited to try it. I tried it, and it ended up that it was so itchy. I would put it on my keloid at night, cover it with the gauze, put my PJs on, and then all night I was just, I couldn't handle it. So it wasn't the best treatment for me, and if you can handle it, I have a lot of respect for you, because it was tough. You know, we all know what it's like when your keloid is itching, so, you know, having the black paste with the gauze with your pajamas on over it was just too much for me. I've also tried compression garments, and this is something that I tried after I had plastic surgery. So they cut the keloid out, and actually compression garments are something that they use on like burn victims. So when someone gets a burn, they put the compression on it to try to reduce the scarring. It was hard because my scar is, you know, between my breasts, so I couldn't really wear a traditional compression garment. So what they had to do was take a plaster mold of my whole chest, and then they created a silicone kind of compression vest for me to wear over my keloid. So I had the keloid excised, I wore the compression vest for as long as I could handle it. Eventually, about a month and a half after the surgery, it started restricting my breathing, and I realized that the pain that I was feeling from the compression garment really wasn't worth the result I was getting, because the keloid was coming back anyways. I think it works really well on ear keloids, but it's not necessarily the best for chest keloids, which is why it's important that, you know, different treatments work for different people. What treatment am I using now? Now I am using a combination of injections and laser. Well, I started out using a combination of injections and laser. I'm getting steroid injections in my keloid since December of 2012. During that time, we also used laser. I couldn't tell you that there was a huge difference made by the laser, so I haven't done it since 2014, but I still do continue getting steroid injections every once in a while when I do notice that there's growth. I went to a great doctor and I think the doctor is really who makes the difference with steroid injections. It's all how you enter the keloid, how you inject the steroids, and kind of the aftercare and whatnot that makes the difference. So it's really the expertise of the doctor that makes the difference, in my opinion. I also use something called Plato's Scar Serum. It is something that my doctor recommended to me. It looks like this. It's a little bottle. It's called Plato's Scar Serum Corrective Scar Therapy, and I use it on my keloid every morning and every night. So during this video, I also wanted to give a quick tutorial on how to use it. So the way that I use Plato's Scar Serum is all you do, I'm going to take the cap off, put a raindrop size drop on your finger, obviously move your jewelry, and then you're just going to rub it on your keloid. And I go all the way down the entire length of my keloid as I want it to, positively affect the entire thing. I've really noticed that it's softened my keloid a lot, and it's also really helped the color. When I push on it, obviously the keloid's red, and I'm kind of rubbing the Plato's Scar Serum in at this point, so it's probably a little red, but it's really lightened the color of my keloid. So I'm pretty happy with that. It used to be extremely red and inflamed, and now it's really subtle. It's more the color of my skin, and I really don't wear makeup on it anymore unless I wake up and it happens to be exceptionally red that day. So Plato's Scar Serum has really helped me. Of course, different treatments work for different people, but I found that that's a great tool in my progress. The next question is, do you know a doctor in my area that can help me? That's a great question. I live in Southern California, so I've only seen doctors down here. I have seen a lot of doctors down here, but the only one I've found with the amount of experience and expertise that I trust is the one that I currently go to. So I don't really know a lot of doctors in other areas. However, I did write a blog post on how I found my doctor, and I highly recommend that you read it and kind of do a lot of research when you're looking for the right doctor. You definitely don't always want to go to the first person that you see. You want to make sure that that person has experience. They've treated keloids before. They've had success with keloids before. And most important to me is that they have a passion for helping you. We know how much keloids can negatively affect our lives emotionally and physically, and you want a doctor who really understands that and is passionate about getting you the help that you need for your keloid. You also want to find someone who's extremely honest. So generally, a lot of doctors do recommend to cut the keloid right out. I have not had great success with that. Every single time I've had my keloid cut out, it's come back even larger. So if you go to a doctor and they immediately recommend that, you may want to get a second opinion. Just use your common sense and your best judgment and find the doctor that makes you feel the most comfortable. Another question that I get all the time is, how do I get rid of my keloid? This is definitely an interesting question. We have keloids. We were given, this very unique gift to make us different from, everyone else. And I personally, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist. I believe that it's not about getting rid of your keloid per se. It's more about getting your keloid to a place where you're comfortable showing it and you're comfortable being proud of it. So my keloid is not gone. It's still there. Sometimes it still gets inflamed and I have to go back to my doctor and get more injections to kind of calm it down. And although I show it, it is still there. People still stare at me. People still ask questions. So it's definitely one of those things that I haven't gotten rid of. I'm just at a place where I'm comfortable and confident with it now, and it doesn't rule my life like it used to. So when you're going through this journey, remember that it's not ever going to go away completely. There, unfortunately, is no cure for keloids right now, so we just have the choice of using the treatments available. So my best advice to you would be, don't go to a doctor, don't start this journey to get rid of your keloid. Start this journey to better yourself, better your keloid, and find confidence that maybe you didn't have when it was the way it was. This question is going to be ways to help with the pain and itching of a keloid. Great question, because this is something all keloid sufferers deal with. I haven't had pain or itching in my keloid for almost 3 years now, but I vividly remember what it felt like. Before I really knew any way to help with the pain and itching, I would go, if I was itching, it usually happened, like in the evening when I was laying in bed or whatnot. And I would go to the bathroom and get the biggest glob of lotion I possibly could and slather it on my keloid and pray that it would cure some kind of itching. Another thing I would do is go to the freezer and get a bag of peas and put it on there, because sometimes the frozen peas helped cooling the keloid, I don't know, helping with inflammation. It's kind of my brain thought. But when I met my doctor that I now go to, he gave me a great tool that I use nowadays if I ever do have stinging or itching. And it's called pinching or massaging your keloid. So what you want to do, and I have a video just for this specifically, but if your keloid ever itches or stings, you're just going to want to grab it and pinch it, or grab some lotion and massage it. Push on it really hard. I know that it can hurt, but the way he described it is that it's full of something called histamines, and when you're squeezing it or pinching it, you're exhausting the histamines, and the histamines are what cause the itching and the stinging and the inflammation. So when you exhaust those, it helps, relieve that pain. So anytime you have that, massage it, pinch it, and hopefully you'll get the same results I did at the beginning, and that pain and itching will go away. How to deal with the anxiety and body image issues before being able to embrace your scar. I can't confidently say that I did a good job at this. I definitely had a lot of anxiety and body image issues. It reflected a lot more than just what I wore or my thoughts about my keloid. It really affected my life. I feel that I settled for a lot in life because I didn't believe that I deserved anything, because I had this, scar on my chest. A girl once told me that I would never be beautiful because I had a disgusting scar on my chest. Or I think she said, because you have that disgusting scar on your chest. That really cuts deep, because I like to believe that I have more to offer than my keloid. And whether or not other people think that is fine, because I know that I have a lot more to offer and that I'm not my keloid. It took me a lot to realize that, and I think when my keloid was larger, I had an even more tough time. I was the type of person who didn't touch my keloid. I tell you guys to pinch it, believe me, that was not me. I probably wouldn't have done that, but I do swear by it, so try it out. But I probably wouldn't have tried that because I didn't touch it. If I was in the shower, I would go over it slightly with soap and a little loofah, and that's the most I would do. I wouldn't touch it, give it attention. When I got out of the shower, I hated looking in the mirror. I wouldn't look in the mirror at myself. I'd put my towel on and leave until I was clothed. Then I would look in the mirror. I hated looking at it at all, or knowing how much it hurt, every aspect of my life. It took far too many years of my life. And I think if there's any reason that you should try and overcome it, it's that it's not worth it. And I know it's hard to take someone else's advice. I've wasted 26 years of my life hiding, and now that I am free, I can't tell you the joy that it's brought me. Now that I'm confident, my keloid is still there. People still stare. They still ask me questions. I wish more asked questions at this point because I really want to spread awareness. But if I could explain to you the happiness that I feel now being comfortable with it, it's way 100 million times better than the way that I felt when I had it and I let it hold me back. I've done more in the time that I've showed it I started showing it May of 2014, so a little over a year. I've done more in that over a year and felt better about myself and done more things to better myself in that time than I ever have in my entire life. Getting help for my keloid has improved every aspect of my life. I remember the first time I went to my doctor, I said, hey, you think you can help me? And he looked at my keloid and he was kind of cocky with it. He said, oh, yeah, I can help you. I can get rid of that. I can treat that. And I said, really? I mean, I've gone to dozens of other doctors who haven't been able to, and you're going to? Okay, let's see this. And part of that was why I chose my doctor. And he said something that really hit home for me. He said, you know what, you're young, and you deserve to be out at the beach in a bikini. And that's what you deserve, and that's the life that you need to lead. And I looked at my mom. She came to my first appointment with me, and I said, oh man, even if my keloid wasn't on me, I still wouldn't wear a bikini. Guess how many bikinis I own? Probably like 5. And I'm a little addicted to shopping for them because I'll see a sale and I'm right at the bikini rack. So even though I never would have thought, even if I didn't have my keloid, it's opened more doors for me than I ever thought it would. And I'm more happy than I've ever been in my entire life. So I really encourage you to embrace your keloid. If you're not going to get treatment, that's okay. Know that you are more than your keloid. You deserve a life that you want to live and not a life that your keloid is going to dictate for you. The next question is, how did it affect you as a girl in school, PE, and at the beach? That's a really good question, because any time that involved wearing a bathing suit or any type of clothing that I didn't feel comfortable in, I would avoid. So PE was really tough for me. I would either try to get in the locker room before everyone else or wait to change until everyone left. I would also use methods like going to the bathroom to change, which just, really looked weird. Go in a shower stall to change. People were always wondering what I was doing. I also came up with some great techniques of putting my clothes on so that they did hide my keloid. So I would take my shirt off and I'd put it right here so it hid my whole keloid. And then I'd take my next shirt, my PE shirt, and I'd stick it on over, and then I'd slide the other shirt off. I was a pro at the end of physical education in high school because I had the hide technique down. And obviously everyone else in the locker room would look at me and wonder what I was doing because the other girls were pretty comfortable with their bodies. But I did everything to hide mine. And no one in PE, I think, really knew that I had a big fat keloid on my chest. So I was successful, but I definitely wasn't confident or comfortable, and it did hurt. The beach is always a tough one because I live about 5 miles from the beach. So, as a child and even now, everyone goes to the beach, and it's the summer activity here. So it was really hard for me. I would either find high neck bathing suits, which didn't exist in any cute, modern, young material or cut. But mostly I would usually wear a shirt over any bathing suit. So I get, a cute bathing suit. I remember this bikini I had with cherries on it, and I got it thinking, oh, I'm going to show my keloid. I'm not even going to care. And I put a shirt right over it. So my mom spent all this money on this bathing suit just for me to cover it with a shirt. I didn't show my keloid in school, so I never wore a top like this or even a top showing anything under probably my collarbone. So not really anyone noticed. I did, however, show it until I was 12 years old. So from kindergarten to 12 years old, I didn't know any better. I was really young. So I showed my keloid. I did get made fun of a lot. I wasn't as accepted. People came up with names for me, lizard chest, oddly enough. One woman asked if I knew that I had gum on my chest, chewed gum on my chest. It was super weird. But I just realized that people are naturally curious. Kids can be very cruel, but they also don't have a filter, so you can't really blame children as much for saying things because they simply don't know. It's almost an innocence that adults should probably handle by adulthood. So I was, however, and I've told this story before, I saw one of my 3rd grade teachers later on in my life, and I was actually in a work environment, and I said, oh, you were my teacher in 3rd grade, you were a great teacher, I always loved you, I remembered you. And she said, oh, were you the girl with the scar? And I looked at her and I felt so uncomfortable and didn't know what to say. It's never something that I wanted to be remembered by. I mean, I was a funny kid, Oh, you were such a class clown. I probably would have preferred that over the girl with the scar. So to know that people remembered me by that was definitely hard. And I think that's why I stopped showing it, is because I didn't want people to remember me by that. I didn't want to be known as the girl with the scar. I wanted to be known as Christy, the funny girl, the pretty girl, the outgoing girl, the talented girl, the great singer. I did not want to be known as the girl with the scar. So that's why I stopped showing my keloid after 12 years old. And, you know, after that, it did me okay. So I just wanted to be known for other things. And I didn't want to miss out on friendships or relationships because people judged me. I wanted people to get to know me and then get to know my keloid. As I wrap things up, I wanted to let you guys know if you have any additional questions for me, I am always happy to answer them. Know that I do have a full-time job, and I'm also, I have a lot of hobbies. So I try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can, but sometimes it does take me up to a week. So just be patient with email, but I'll get to you, I promise. And I'll answer every question that, you know, you have for me. And if it, you know, comes that there's enough to make another video, then I'll make another video. It seems like some people prefer the videos over reading, which is fine. Then you get to see my face, hear my voice, really get to know what kind of person I am. Anyway, so shoot me all your questions. If you ever need any support, I'm always available via email or Facebook or Instagram. Make sure to follow all the places that I am. I'm pretty much a scarred beauty on everything. So if you want to get Plato's Scar Serum, go ahead and go to my website, www.ascarredbeauty.com, and go to the Scarred Beauty store, and I have a bunch of products in there that I'll probably make another video about sometime, but the Plato's Scar Serum's there as well, or you can grab a Scarred Beauty t-shirt. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe, share it with your other keloid sufferers, and let's spread awareness, because together we can make a difference.